I'm Greg Jamborisi with the Jersey Shore Blue Claws. We're joined by Mike Ventola from the Lehigh Valley IronPigs. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing well, Greg. Pleasure to be seeing you face to face. You know, between all the email conversations we've had, it's finally nice to see your face.
Absolutely. And this week, of course, position players reporting down to Florida. Pitchers and catchers reported last week. We got our minor league baseball schedules on Thursday for the public for the first time. So an exciting time here in New Jersey. We're about 71 days as we record this from opening night. You guys, though, a little bit, a lot closer.
Yeah, we're just a little over 40 days until Tuesday, April 6th, when the IronPigs are going to welcome in the Syracuse Mets. So we're excited. I mean, but as you know, Greg, as I'm sure you and everyone in Jersey Shore is moving like crazy to get ready. We're really ramped up.
Yeah.
We're pumped, but, you know, it's going to be a very busy 5.5 weeks here before we get to opening day. So we're excited now.
So here, our Jersey Shore Blue Claw schedule in what is for now called the High A East League, 6-game series, Tuesday to Sunday. Is that kind of how they did your schedule too?
Yes. And what's neat about it too is that the way the AAA East is now put together, it's 20 total teams.
Yeah.
But what they did with us is, specifically with the IronPigs being in the Northeast Division within AAA East, the IronPigs are only going to be facing teams within their division. So, but yes, Tuesday through Sunday will be games, and it's going to be 6-game series against one opponent. So teams are going to get to know each other pretty well here throughout the year.
They are. Now, what team are you playing the most? Like, do you guys play more than 30 games? We have Brooklyn, I think, 30 times. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think coming into, I believe when it's all said and done, at least from our home slate, we'll see Worcester and Scranton Wilkes-Barre 3 times, and we'll see the other teams twice. So, but I think when it's all said and done, I think we see Scranton Wilkes-Barre and Worcester actually the most. So even though they come in 3 times, I think even because I think we go up to Scranton Wilkes-Barre 3 times. So it's going to be nice in regards to the rivalry, because the IronPigs and the Rail Riders have the Iron Rail rivalry. So we had the trophy, by the way, because the Pigs did win the series in 2019. So, but it's going to be nice, especially for, Greg, as you know, when you have your diehards that follow every pitch, every at bat, seeing the Rail Riders and the IronPigs quite a bit is going to be a lot of fun.
For us here, we were in the South Atlantic League and we're not really in the South. So we're barely in South Jersey. So, the closest team to Lakewood was Delmarva, and they were 180 some odd miles away, almost 4 hours, whatever. But now, 4 teams within 135 miles of the stadium. Aberdeen is about 2.5 hours. Hudson Valley, 2.5 hours, 2 and change. And then you have Brooklyn, who's only 60 miles away. Wilmington is, an hour and a half, hour 40 away. So I think that's something that our fans are going to be really excited about. Brooklyn, I think the Blue Claws go up there 3 times, and they come here twice. So that's 30 games against Brooklyn. Now, we used to play 25 games against Delmarva and Hagerstown because they had to try to fit from a travel standpoint, with the limited number of days off and everything. You had to play so many games against the teams that were within 500 miles. And for us, there were only 4. So we're used to playing 20, 24, 25 games against a certain team. 30 is a lot. I realize that that's going to be a one-off kind of situation, but I think, for our fans to get to see Brooklyn that often, Hudson Valley that often, Wilmington, that often, and build up little rivalries there, I think our fans are really going to like. And, from Wilmington's standpoint, so many of the Wilmington Blue Rocks fans, they've been the Royals forever, but so many of those fans are Philly fans. So I'm sure we'll get a lot of them coming up here to, for a couple of days at the Jersey Shore, see some Phillies guys and see Wilmington.
I'm excited for you guys because, you brought up a lot of good points, but some of those ballparks too that the Blue Claws will be getting a chance to see for the first time. I tell you, I remember going to games in Wilmington, just right off of Interstate 95. You're hopping, skip and jump, like you said, from Philadelphia. So even though that, they've been affiliated with the Royals, I believe now they're affiliated with the Nationals.
Yep.
So, and the Nationals come back into the AAA East, or formerly the International League, with Rochester, which we're excited about because it's another NL East rivalry right there. So, and I think that's kind of what the cool thing about, with, if you're a true baseball fan, is with a lot of this realignment is you're going to see much more of geographical rivalries come into play. The parent clubs will see their teams below them, playing up and comers for future rivals and things of that nature. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But I think for you guys in Jersey, sure, especially once fans continue to come into the ballpark, it's going to be a lot of fun, especially too creatively. Teams can get involved. I've seen already, Greg, is, teams on social media are saying, well, if we win this series, we're going to send you, we want something, that's homemade in your town or whatnot. So I think that's kind of the cool aspect of what we'll see here this year.
Yeah, like those Super Bowl bets between the mayors. They, you see those every year, right? Yep. So last year, obviously no minor league baseball in the traditional sense, but you guys were still active with some baseball at Coca-Cola Park with summer camp, or what do they call it?
They called it. We were the alternate site. We called
alternate site. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, the taxi squad or whatever it was.
So, what was that experience like for you guys as a staff?
It was, selfishly, for guys like you and I, it was a treat, man. Because it was baseball, and even though it wasn't baseball in the traditional sense that you didn't have the fans, the concession stands, and all that stuff, but it was nice because it brought just a sense of normalcy in these crazy times, and a lot of inter-squad games with one another. It was nice kind of seeing some guys that could have gone up to Philadelphia at any point. Some guys were being sent up to Philadelphia, or if guys needed to come down on rehab, we're getting their work in. David Robertson was a guy that was supposed to spend some time up with the Phillies a lot last season, but was recovering from injury. We got to see him kind of, work on his rehab, and, Scott Kingery made his way back to Coca-Cola Park, which was cool. So you kind of see some familiar faces, but a lot of unorthodox type play. I watched Andy Abad play a lot of first base. Watched a lot of Chris Truby, playing, making slick plays at second base and at shortstop. Travis Erger, he's out in the outfield. The assistant pitching coach, pitching coordinator, he's out there in the outfield. Strength coaches, Mike Lidge, who's the IronPigs strength coach, he was out in, the outfield. So you had staff members having to play defensive spots because there weren't enough guys, to fulfill two teams. So we had lineups too, Greg, where you had three batters in just a lineup for both teams. And then, they're batting in order. So they're getting 5-6 at bats, or, there wouldn't be, normally you see 3 outs in an inning, there'd be 2 outs, or they'd say, let's keep going. Let's have 4 outs in an inning, or, they want a pitcher to face somebody else. So a lot of unorthodox style play, but that was all part of player development. And, we still treated it like games in a sense. We ran music, the players had their walk-up music. We tried to have a little fun with the video board from time to time. We played some pump-up videos for the guys, and, try to make sure they were ultimately having a great experience. And they did. It was nice for us, but still stunk having no fans, though. That was the tough part.
And then, you get to send some guys through, like, Alec Bohm started there. Mickey Monia came. I know he didn't start there, right? But he was hurt, but he got there at some point. Yep. And you fed him up. Rafael Marchand, who played here in 2019, ended up hitting his first professional home run for the Phillies in September of 2020. He was there. So at least, you got a lot of guys that were able to come through Allentown and make their way to the Phillies. A guy like Bohm, he didn't play for Lehigh, right? Because he finished 2019 in Reading.
Yes. So it was weird seeing, it was nice seeing Bohm and Spencer Howard, two, you could argue the top position player, top pitcher in the Philly system right now. Sure. It was nice seeing them here, but it was great seeing them in their Philly red. But, we were hoping that maybe, if things were normal in 2020, that, they probably could have been wearing IronPigs uniform. So Bohm in his entire, unless there's a rehab or whatever may happen in the future, he may never wear an IronPig uniform because he is expected to be the starting third baseman. So that was kind of cool. So for your fans, for Blue Claws fans, there were a lot of Blue Claws roaming around that I was impressed with. And I know we can certainly go into it, but you mentioned Logan Hoppy, but Nick Maton too. I was really impressed with him. And, I think he's not. I think he's down at spring training, or he's getting to mini camp or whatever. So he could
Yeah, he
certainly
is.
have an opportunity at some point this year.
Um, yeah. What did you make of? Let's say Marshawn. He was one of the more recent ones. What did you think of him when he was there?
I love him defensively. You can see why manager Joe Girardi spoke very highly on him. Throughout spring training last year, you can see why he was getting opportunities and why he was put on the radar. And I think defensively, it's so important, especially for a catcher, to learn how to. I liked where he was receiving, his blocking ability. I think him being still so young. It was inter squad game, so I can't really say to the fact how he was calling a game, working with the pitcher, but you could see that there was a lot of good moments. I'm sure that the coaches are going to continue to work with him on that. So, but where he plays in 2021 is going to be intriguing. So, but Blue Claw fans should be very excited because I would expect him up in the big leagues. Hopefully in the maybe not this year, but maybe in 2022, he could get an opportunity, or even 2023, depending on, if being with Real Muto and Knapp being up there. So, but very happy with what he was able to do at the alternate site last year.
We'll come back to where some of these guys are going to go this year, because obviously there's a big, it's much trickier to make those projections than it would be in a normal year. Spencer Howard, how long was he there? Was he because he would have been there from the beginning, right? And then you guys were just kind of counting down until he would get his shot with the Phillies.
Yeah, it pretty much, that's what it was. I mean, it's funny. I'm actually getting ready to pull up because it was funny because, and as you know, outside of having to broadcast a lot, our job is, media guys, is that, we have to make sure stats, all the historical numbers are caught up to speed. So myself and we had our local TV company, Service Electric Network, came in and televised a lot of these taxi squad games, which was great. So Steve Degler, who's one of the announcers, a former Reading Phillies radio announcer for a long time, we tag team in keeping a lot of stats. So for Spencer Howard, he only appeared in 2 games. So, and it was funny how he considered what a game was. So, but he pitched early, and then up he went to the big leagues, and that was it. So he did get brought back down right near the end of the alternate site, but at that point he was just working on the side, and at that point camp kind of closed up shop after that. So, but I tell you, in those 2 games, not that much could be really said, but you can see why that he got an opportunity, and you can see why he can eventually be a member of that Phillies rotation, hopefully sooner rather than later.
No, they added some veterans. So as we tape this, we have no idea where he's going to go, but none of us would be surprised. He'll be in there at some point during the summer. Who else was there? You mentioned Nick Maton. Who kind of caught your eye from summer camp last year? Alternate site. I don't know why I keep calling it summer camp. From alternate site last year.
Alternate site. I tell you, it felt like summer camp.
I like summer camp. I thought that was.
I know it was great too, especially when they were going to the the big league ballparks, up north. I thought that was a cool name. But yeah, kind of for your fans that got a chance to see a lot of guys that are now going to be up in potential higher levels, or back with you guys because you guys are up a level. The guy I really liked was Logan. I'll tell you, I loved watching Logan O'Hoppe. And the reason why too is, I mean, as young as he is, he physically, he looks the part, and I liked his ability. He was aggressive as a hitter. He has speed too for a catcher. Traditionally catchers may not be the quickest guys on the diamond, Greg, but he's got some speed. I liked his ability to move around on the base paths. An energetic kid. I got a chance to speak with him during this past off season, and he was like a sponge, because he was around some other catchers, and then guys who had been around. I mean, Davey Grion, who had at the time been in AAA the previous year, but the Phillies made a late signing to Jonathan Lucroy. And, Lucroy, of course, who spent a lot of years with Milwaukee, a former All-Star, a guy that been in the big leagues a number of years. And Logan said that Jonathan was outstanding to him in regards to answering questions. So, and then also to talking to, working with the coaching staff here. So I'm excited to see Logan's projection, where he's going to eventually end up. He's definitely on the radar, and he was definitely a guy that, whether it was calling games or sitting up in a press box and doing public address announcing, I would just say to guys, I go, man, he's a guy that he's got a ceiling. He's got an opportunity.
Yeah, that they even sent him there. I know they sometimes, they'll load up on catchers, but there were other catchers that had finished 2019 at higher levels than he did. Yep. So for him to even send for the Phillies to send him there was, I'm sure, a good sign. He's in Florida now. He's at the mini camp as well. And again, one of the younger guys. He might even be the youngest. He was probably the youngest player at the alternate site, and because he was only 20, and I'm sure he just turned 21 2 weeks ago. And I'm sure he's probably the youngest player at the mini. Oh, I shouldn't say that, but he might be the youngest, one of the younger guys at the mini camp as well. Now, where they put some of these players in 2021 is interesting because we just don't know. Normally in 2020, Logan finished 2019 in Williamsport. Obviously, he would have come to Lakewood in 2020. But now what? So missed a year. Obviously, he got a lot more experience last year than some of the other guys getting to go to the alternate site. And they had some instructional league. I'm not sure if he participated in that, but is it a situation where they want to get him reps in low A, which in this case would be remember Lakewood and Clearwater flip spots. So, or do they say, well, we like what he did last year. He got a year older, so let's see if he can handle high A, which would come to the Jersey Shore. I don't know. There'll be a lot of those decisions that the Phillies are going to have to make, and every team will have to make. And it makes projecting these opening day rosters for these teams, especially at the lower levels, very difficult.
It is. I don't envy Phillies player development because there's going to be some tough decisions, I would have to think. And, then it comes back to, are they going to look to challenge some guys? But if they look to say, you know what, we're going to have to maybe just put guys here to start, even though that maybe they're ready for that next level, but because of where certain guys are slotted. And I think a lot of it too is, and I mean, this as well, is how many of once spring training breaks. And I think truly a lot of who gets positioned here in AAA is truly going to affect, because there's a lot of minor league free agents. And you wonder how many of them that don't make the big league roster are going to accept a AAA assignment. Obviously there's so much uncertainty. So I would expect most of them to accept, but you get a guy or two that feels like, that they deserve another opportunity, and it's certainly their right. So, I think a lot of it's going to be, I think for folks who are, Reading, you guys in Jersey Shore and Clearwater, I think once you kind of see what the AAA roster looks like, you'll have a clearer idea. But, guys like O'Hoppe, guys like Nick Maton and Luke Williams, Luke Williams ended the year, and Nick Maton, they both ended the year in Reading. Do they, just because they were here at the alternate site last year, do they start in AAA, or do they go back to Reading and play it, at least start the year in Reading? So usually you and I we're trading emails at this point. Like we have an idea about it.
We have an idea.
But you and I know at this point, no. I don't have an idea even who's going to be at Coca-Cola Park because there's so much uncertainty.
Yeah, absolutely. Luke, by the way, who played here in 2017, he had a good winter in Australia. He played for Adelaide, hit 9 homers, hit 299, or hit 292. Sorry, for Adelaide down in Australia. One of the guys that we thought would have been here in 2020, Kendall Simmons, an infielder. He was a high pick a few years ago. He played in Australia. The Phillies sent a bunch of guys down to Australia to play for a couple of different teams. Many played for Adelaide, who was managed by Chris Adamson, who was originally going to be the 2020 Blue Claws manager. We don't know we don't know how the staffs are going to shake out at this point for 2021. I'm sure those announcements though will be coming out pretty soon. Give me a guy that hasn't gotten to Lehigh yet that you think will in 2021, with a caveat of we don't know this for sure, but that you're kind of looking forward to see.
It's a good question. I mean, there are certainly a few guys that are on my radar. I know we talked about a couple. If I had to go with a guy that I'm pretty much excited to see a little bit more, I would think Mickey Moniak. I think Mickey's going to be a guy that could get challenged, um, because I think kind of seeing where he was with his projection and how with him ending the year in Reading, he had a good year in Reading. They challenged him, here at the alternate site. He played about I think 8 games or so, but still, um, and I got to double check. I think he's down in Clearwater. I think he's down in Clearwater. Will be potentially going. So, but I would expect him to be in AAA, if not to start the year, then maybe right away. So, and especially too with outfield depth, and where the outfield is right now. Um, I think Mickey would certainly be a guy that could play every day, because some of the minor league free agents that were signed, technically only Matt Joyce is a non-roster invite. And, could Joyce, depending on if he makes the big league team or if he accepts. So I think there's going to be some young young upcoming guys. And I think Mickey's near the top of that list. And if so, I think he had 13 triples or something like that with Reading in 2020 or 2019. So, yeah, he's a guy I'm looking forward to most, because too, being a former first round pick. I mean, you kind of want to see where he's at. Is he going to be a part of this Phillies team in the future?
Yeah, a guy like Bryson Stott, he was a first round pick in 2019. My guess would be he goes to Reading because he's 23, but that would mean he skipped 2 levels. So, I don't know. I guess there's at least a possibility, though. I think he would go to Reading. That that he can come here. We already talked about Logan Watkins, but then I think for the Blue Claws, kind of in a different spot because of the level change. That we're going to have a few guys from 2019 that move up a level and come back. They're not repeating. They're coming back to New Jersey, but they're not repeating the level. They're moving up a level. So a guy like Francisco Morales, who was awesome when he finished the season with the Blue Claws last year, or 2019, big, tall, hard throwing right-hander, nasty slider, strikeout slider type. I think a guy like him will be really exciting for us to see. And hopefully, if that's indeed the case, he'll have a good year and get himself back up to to Double-A at some point pretty soon. Ethan Lindau finished last year in Clearwater. What kind of progress have these guys made? Eric Miller was a lefty they drafted out of Stanford in 2019. He's 23. He pitched 2 games here at the end of the 2019 season. He seems a logical guy to move up to high A, and he looked really good. I mean, it was only 2 games, but just watching those 2 games, he looked really good. So he'd be another guy that I think we kind of want to see if the possibility, if that works out where he goes to high A, he'd be back here. I think that'd be exciting. But it's a fun time of the year, and we'll learn a little bit more about how these rosters are going to shake out at the lower levels, probably not till April, but you guys will already be well into your season. What's on the to-do list between now and April 6th? Oh, you're going to show it to us?
Well, see unused credentials that that for whatever reason don't get used in years past. I kind of use them as note cards.
Yeah.
So I wrote some things down here. So between credentials, media guidelines, I'm waiting to hear some official wording from Major League Baseball. I've been going off a lot of what was last year just to get things set, but things may be a little bit different. Maybe they, whether it's learning from lessons, but still want to get working on that. Trying to get some digital content, get some player shout outs potentially from spring training, though eventually getting close to game notes, roster. I do a lot of the hoteling here for the travel. So setting up hotels, getting those contracts done. Also, too, preparing for a virtual media day, because let's be honest, media is not going to be allowed into clubhouses, at least you would think to start. So, conducting a virtual media day. So that's eventually learning, here on Zoom. I mean, you and I were talking on Zoom. It's the Zoom protocols, making sure everybody's muted and making sure just, one person asking question, kind of doing things in order. The Phillies PR staff does a tremendous job. I've actually, been watching their public press conferences just to kind of get an idea. Greg, Chris, Kenny, and Jim, they do a fantastic job. So I've already learned a lot from what those guys are doing. So I'm going to try to implement some of that here. So, to make things easier for our coaches and players whenever that time comes. So, but, it's crazy, Greg, because so much every day something new seems to come about. So, we could be planning a certain way, and then we get a mandate. Nope, it's got to be like this. So, but like anything else, we're working with, the Allentown Health Bureau in the state of Pennsylvania, especially with, if and when fans are allowed in and all that good stuff. So it's a lot of work right now. It's I'm lucky I don't have any gray hair yet. So, I mean, I got some right here, but,
Well, at least you have some. At least you have some. Yeah, no, same here. Just at least we have an extra 4 weeks compared to you guys with the April 6th start. Obviously, Blue Claws will start on May the 4th against Hudson Valley. What just give me what are you most looking forward to getting some baseball back inside Coca-Cola Park? What was that like? I know you had a dose with the alternate site, but it's not the same.
No, it's not. I guess what I'm looking forward to most is just seeing some fans. Opening day, we're going to have some level of fans, whether it's 10%, 25%, 50%, whatever it is. Just seeing fans coming through those gates, sitting down and watching a game. Because then at least I know at that point, like, I know, you and I, we have our game day routines. That means I'm getting back into my game day routine. It's getting game notes done. It's make sure, rosters, stat packs and things of all that nature, getting all that stuff done. So just a traditional game day, I guess. I'm just looking forward to getting back into that rhythm again. And, like I said, Tuesday, April 6th, it'll be here. Greg, I was about to say, obviously, if you ever want to come up and visit, if you're allowed
I will. Yeah, I will. I say that a lot, but I mean it this time.
Yeah, especially too if you get a chance, you come in and want to not only just watch a game but kind of see like how things are being done, and at least kind of get you back in and seeing some former Blue Claws. You know what I mean? I would sure to be expecting some former Blue Claws on this IronPigs roster here this year.
True, you got that whole. It is true though, because you have a whole month of games before the Blue Claw season even begins. So it gives me. I see you got 2 homestands there. So
yep,
that will be good. No Tebow though.
No Tebow. I mean,
did he come through there? He must have, right? Yeah.
2019, first time in. I got the Tebow Experience. Great guy, and first day we had a media thing for him, and it took place in the dugout for Syracuse. He was tremendous, a great guy, and to me, I don't want to make this whole thing about Tim Tebow, but what he did for minor league baseball in a short time, it brought eyes to the product.
Oh my God, yeah.
Whether you agreed or disagreed with his style of play or whatnot, I'll leave that for you to decide. But from a business standpoint, ballparks were sold out. They were packed to watch him.
He was here for 4 days in May of 2017, and then the first day it got rained out. We kind of got unlucky because they had gotten rained out on Friday night in Delmarva. And it was like this massive, massive cell. And it started raining here on Friday night at like 11, maybe midnight. And our game was at 4 the next day. And it was just this huge cell. And it just kept poured all day. We called the game off at 11 in the morning because we had, we were sold out. We had there were a lot of people that were coming down from New York or northern New Jersey to see the Mets and see Tebow. And it was a Saturday through Monday series. So if you were going to come down from up there, and Sunday was Mother's Day, so Saturday was the day. So we had sold out all the days, and then unfortunately we didn't have enough seats. We were sold out for 3 days, so we didn't have enough seats to exchange for the Saturday seat folks. A lot of them took GA, but I mean, as you know, in minor league baseball, if you're going to get rained out, let it pour. Call the game 5 hours before it's supposed to start. It's just cleaner in a million different ways. So that's what happened. And then, we had 3 straight sellouts the next 3 days with him. And he did his press conference on Sunday, 12 o'clock before the game. He was fantastic. We had a bunch of media folks from all over the place. It was, it was cool to have to experience. And you're right. I think he went to, when he was in the Sally League, ended up going to like the way the schedule broke, fortunately for the league, Columbia, their first 7 or 8 road trips, however many he went on, were to like 8 different teams. So nobody got him twice, and he was at least spread out through the league as much as possible. And he brought solid crowds wherever he went. So that was an experience for sure. But it was fun. It was fun. He was great, and minor league baseball will certainly miss him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
But wish him the best of luck. Whatever,
absolutely.
I'm sure he's going to be doing a lot more with ESPN and and all the other media commitments that he has.
Yeah. So baseball is back. We are awaiting the start of the minor league season. Mike Ventola and the Lehigh Valley IronPigs will open on April the 6th in Allentown against the Syracuse Mets. The Jersey Shore Blue Claws will make their debut 4 weeks later, May the 4th, here in Lakewood against Hudson Valley. We hope you join us for that. Mike, it was a pleasure talking some baseball with you. We'll do this again, of course, before the season starts. Best of luck and continued success, and we'll see you soon.
All right, absolutely, Greg. And real quickly, to all the Blue Claw fans watching, I'm pumped for the name change, and I love your logo and everything you guys do with.
I'll bring you a hat.
It was the marketing campaign was tremendous. I would hope maybe some point this summer if I can sneak down to Jersey Shore. It's a tremendous. Absolutely loved it, and I think Blue Claw fans, you should be excited about what's happening in Jersey Shore between Greg, Joe, and the entire Blue Claw staff. And I know they're pumped to unveil the new look and everything once May rolls around. So, but like I said, Greg, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mike. Thanks, and I'll be up there before. We got that month now, so I'll come up and I'll bring you some Jersey Shore Blue Claw swag.
Sounds like a plan. I'll have some IronPigs swag waiting for you.
There you go. Thanks, my friend. Great to talk to you.
You got it.